My mother's name is Mary Rowles. From age 15 to 21, she had 6 children. The furthest back I can remember is 1997. I was living with my mom and my brother Tyler, my sister Marissa, my brother Daryl and Danny, and Caleb had just been born. She was like a really good mom. There's early photos of us like going to Chuck E. Cheese and stuff like that and like just being kids. Before Alice, my mom treated us pretty good. My mom met Alice at a gay nightclub in Akron, Ohio. And then the next thing I know, we're living in a new house with just Alice. My 3 older siblings, Daryl, Danny, and Marissa, moved in with their fathers, and I was left with Alice, Mary, my older brother Tyler, and my younger brother Caleb. Alice began to separate us from our mother and tie us to the bed when she went to work.
Get on the bed and lie down.
Tyler and I were both put in the same room in the beginning. 2 twin beds side by side, essentially. And she would tie us by our wrists and our ankles to the bedpost. So we would essentially be strung, like laid out so we couldn't roll over or move around. Alice was never aggressive with it. She was just very quiet and very stern and just wanted to handle business and be done with it. And Mary was taking care of Caleb most of the day because he was still a baby at the time. So I didn't see much of Mary.
Stay here and be quiet until I get back.
So we'd just be like in a room tied to beds, Tyler and I side by side. I didn't really understand like what was going on. It scares me more now, like as an adult, than it did when I was a kid. I didn't really understand it then. I was just so young and like just seemed normal. And one day she just separated us into separate rooms. And tied the opposite opening doors together so that we couldn't get out or open either door. She was very quiet and reserved and almost seemed like it was just a task that she had to do, almost as if we were just animals to take care of. The doors being tied together felt less of a game and more like a punishment or like imprisonment. Alice's behavior slowly got worse, and she started withholding food from us, essentially starving us. Up until this point, Alice would let Tyler and I out of the room. Most of the time, we would just have Captain Crunch or something for breakfast, just a little cereal. And then for dinner, the majority of what we had was mac and cheese and hot dogs. But I just remember one day her coming up and opening the door, and I'm sitting there and she just has a paper plate with a half a peanut butter sandwich on it. That was our dinner. Like half a peanut butter sandwich didn't seem enough for a dinner or to last you through the whole day.
You eat your sandwich, and when you're finished, you go right to bed.
I just thought it was just like a snack or something until it started to become routine where she wouldn't let us out. It went from having dinner downstairs and breakfast downstairs to like just eating in the room all the time. We weren't allowed out to use the restroom. That's when we started using the corners of the bedroom. We would pull up the carpets and use the restroom and then put down the corner of the carpet so Alice couldn't find it. And we did that for months and months. We had no other contact with Alice besides that. And Mary didn't do anything in this situation.
Is everything okay? They're fine. They're just having dinner.
Mary should have called the police in this situation or called CPS or called a family friend or hurt parents. She could have just walked out. She didn't stand up for her children and defend us, protect us like you're supposed to. One day we're just woken up and we're dressed in very minimal clothes, like shorts and a t-shirt. Now I'm just like being walked somewhere with Marissa. And we had never been outside at that point. My first day walking to school was the first time I ever remember going outside. And I didn't realize there was a whole world like outside of the bedroom. We were going to school for about 2 to 3 weeks and we were just taken out instantly, all of a sudden. I hope that one of the teachers reported something or someone said something, but I don't know if any of my teachers knew what was going on. Nothing ever came of it. Nothing was ever done about our situation. And once Alice and Mary pulled us out of school, things started to get worse at home. It was about a week or two after we had stopped going to school, and we had seen kids out on the sidewalk coming home from school. They're hollering up at us.
Say hi, guys.
And they're like trying to get us to come out and play, like, let's hang out. And like, that's all they were trying to do, just like kids being kids.
We can't come out. We're not allowed.
We're hollering down to them, tapping on the window. But then it ended up like getting us in trouble.
Hey!
Because Alice came home and was like freaking out.
What the hell is going on in here? Get away from that window.
What are you doing? Like, you're not supposed to be by the window. People shouldn't know you're in here.
If you can't behave yourselves, you can stay in here.
And then that's when the closet thing started. It's a 3x5 closet with a carpet inside. There was no shelving, no overhead bar to hang anything, just an empty closet, no pull string lamp, nothing. And so she puts us in the closet and I just remember that padlock going on and like it being really dark in there. First time that Alice put us in a closet, I thought it would be a one-time or just like a short span punishment, but it just ended up being continuous and ongoing. In the beginning, the closet door was just getting locked. And then over time, a large brown dresser was acquired. And they would take that dresser and put it in front of the closet door so that if she ever forgot the lock, which she did a couple of times, the dresser's there. For about 3 years, we were spending periods of time in the closet, which is complete dark. Like there's no light except for the light that comes underneath the door. And we would get fed super sporadically, not let out for breakfast, not let out for dinner. There was no regular schedule. Alice came in whenever she pleased to feed us. Alice would come upstairs with half a peanut butter sandwich and either let us out and we would have to eat it in front of her on our knees, or she would open the door and just give it to us and we would eat where we'd been using the restroom and sleeping. There would be 2 of us sharing this half a peanut butter sandwich. One day, Tyler and I are taken out of the bedroom and taken downstairs and sat on the floor in the family room, and a trash bag of stuffed animals and toys and trinkets, which we'd never seen before, spewing all over the floor.
Go ahead, play.
We're not like really playing, we're just sitting there. And it's all super strange, and we've never been given anything. And 2 strangers we've never seen before came into the house. I thought maybe it was just like some of Alice and Mary's friends. We didn't know at the time that was CPS. I believe CPS was prompted to come to the house because someone, either Marissa or Danny or Daryl, said something to their fathers. Danny and Daryl would come over on the weekends, so they would come upstairs and hang out with us Alice would let Tyler and I out of the closet, so we would be in the room and you could smell the feces in the bedroom. And I assume over the span of the years that Danny, Daryl, and Marissa were saying something to their parents or their teachers at school about our conditions, but CPS never went upstairs, never looked at the bedroom, never looked at the closet. They didn't ask us any questions at all. If they would have just gone upstairs and turned the corner into the bedroom, it would have been over, but they didn't. Alice seemed super calm. Mary really let Alice do most of the talking. It's like theater to Alice. It's all just like a big show to put on.
Thank you so much for coming to check in. Yeah.
When they left, Alice packed up all the stuffed animals and the toys right back into the garbage bags that they were in. And we were taken right back upstairs and put right back into the closet. In 2003, Daryl, Danny, Marissa, Tyler, myself, and Caleb were all living in the house. Mary wanted full custody, and my 3 older siblings moved into the home with us. We were always telling Danny and Daryl that we weren't getting fed, and then that would get back to Marissa. Marissa was essentially our golden ticket. Marissa had let us out into the room a couple times, and then Marissa would sometimes be the one to like have to lead us to the bathroom because Alice doesn't want to deal with it. She was never inhumane about anything. Like, she definitely looked out for us. One time, I remember Marissa letting us out of the closet, and she talks about how Alice and Mary had went out. We asked her if, like, can we go downstairs? Can we get some food?
Please.
All right, but we have to make this quick because they could get home any minute. Got it?
And we went downstairs to check out the kitchen to find the cupboards were packed, the fridge was packed, everything completely full. And in that moment, it definitely made Alice seem like more of just an outright evil by choice person when she clearly had all the resources to provide, and she just chose not to. I was definitely overwhelmed that that much food could exist in one space. We took anything from cans of Pringles to Gatorade to granola bars, everything that they had, we took upstairs. And when Alice got home, she was furious, absolutely furious. It was probably 2 or 3 days before we got fed again. Alice lets us out of the closet, and we're kneeling, and she's standing above us. She had a bowl for each of us. She just puts it down, and like we all see it, and she just told us that we had to eat it for stealing her food.
What's the matter? I thought you were hungry.
We were forced to eat feces,
Eat it.
and we assume it was the family dog, like from the backyard. In 2003, I was 8 years old. Alice was feeding us once a week at that time. I hadn't seen my mother in months, so at that point, I kind of knew we were just on our own. I just want to get out. I start to try to convince Tyler and everybody else of the same thing. We were mainly trying to figure out how we were going to get out of this situation, because at that time, Danny and Daryl had already talked to their father, Marissa had talked to her father, and nothing had happened. And that's when we started planning for essentially a getaway plan. So one evening, Marissa comes into the room while Alice and Mary are sleeping, and she lets Tyler and I out of the closet, and Daryl and Danny and Caleb are all in the room, and she's like, we gotta do it now. And she's panicked, like frantic panic.
What are you doing?
Shh. Stay quiet. We're gonna get you out of here.
What? Right now?
She was like, tonight's the night, tonight's the night.
It can't wait. It has to be now.
And that's when she had mentioned that we should try to go out the window.
You gotta go with them, Daryl. Make sure they get out okay.
Then we have to decide like who's going, because there's 6 of us. We all can't go, because if Alice comes back in and looks in the room, the same people have to be in the room.
We have to get you guys out first.
Yeah, you guys have to go.
Daryl, Tyler, and I decide to leave. And Caleb, Danny, and Marissa stay behind.
We'll be fine. Now hurry.
Marissa tried to cover our tracks. She had put the dresser back in front of the closet just in case Alice would wake up and come in. Daryl wants me to get on his back, and then he's gonna climb down the gutter. So I get on his back, and he shimmies over the edge of the roof, and he slides down the gutter. And when we land on the floor, the gutter breaks and makes the loudest bang. We're waiting for Mary and Alice's bedroom light to just turn on. Like, we all froze, and we waited for a couple minutes. Bedroom light never came on. Tyler jumps down from the roof, and then we start walking up the street. There's a bit of adrenaline, and then you realize, like, you just escaped, and, like, you start, like, looking around, and, like, the sky goes all the way up, and there's trees everywhere, and it was very overwhelming. It was crazy. It was beautiful, though. Myself and my siblings, like, trekking to freedom, and, like, it's more beautiful now than it was then. We walked around the corner and got some water from a hose from some lady's house. And there was a house light that was on. And there was a lady just standing in the curtain, like, watching us. And she's holding the curtain with one hand, and she's got the phone in the other hand. No more than 30 seconds later, we get a cop car that comes zipping right at us. And they pull us over and ask us why we're walking around the streets of Akron. And we didn't want to say anything at first out of fear that we would just end up right back at Alice's and they would side with her. We were all sitting in the back seat. And that's when they had offered to buy us food if we would have a conversation with them. And they had taken us to get sandwiches and large sports Gatorades. A foot-long sub with meat and veggies and cheese and things I never even had before. I had no clue what the sandwich was. Still don't to this day because I'd never had it before. And the second we started eating in the back of their car and they noticed, like, how animalistic we were eating the sandwiches, and they realized something was wrong. And that's when we kind of started to tell them that we're being locked in a closet and starved and abused, and this is going on.
What do you mean you live in the closet?
We're not allowed to come out unless Alice says we can.
They're not responding. They're just, like, sitting there, just, like, staring at us with, like, blank faces, just taking everything in. I was very terrified that they would not believe us. They make a radio call, and we're just, like, sitting there in silence, essentially. And they get off the radio call, and we just start driving. They literally tell us, we're gonna take you back home.
No, please!
So we're screaming, and we were freaking out. We're like, why are you taking us back?
You can't take us back there!
And then they're just like, relax, relax. We're not taking you out of the car. And then they stayed in the car with us, and a bunch of other police showed up. They kicked the door in, rushed inside, and then the next thing I know, out walks Alice and Mary in handcuffs, side by side. And that was the last time I saw my mom. I still think about it sometimes. It's definitely a moment that, like, plays in my head. And, like, it's nice. Like, I don't know. That was, like, the moment that, like, we were all able to, like, get some peace, and they were gonna pay for what they did. Alice and Mary both pled guilty and were sentenced to 30 years. I think that both Mary and Alice pled guilty just to limit the time they'd spend behind bars. These are their online inmate photos. Alice definitely looks tired in the eyes. Mary has changed a lot. She looks super old. It just makes me angry that they could still be smiling. They almost look content and comfortable with where they're at. Back in 2017, I'd contacted Alice and asked her why she did the things she did and if she felt any remorse, and she claimed that she didn't do anything wrong and that she was playing the role and doing the job that Mary should have done as the mother. Mary, she writes me occasionally. Mary would always just reply that she's sorry, she should have never let it happen. I don't believe her apologies. I think it's just what Mary expects people want to hear. But it was important to forgive her and not forget it, but just to let her go and let her existence be hers and let mine be mine. I want to forgive Alice, but I haven't yet.